Have you ever asked yourself why discipline feels so out of reach, no matter how badly you want it? That gnawing frustration inside when you promise yourself to stick to a goal, but somehow, you fall back into old habits. It's exhausting, isn't it? Feeling like you're trapped between wanting change and the invisible force holding you back. The truth is, discipline isn't about being perfect or having superhuman willpower. It's not a trait you're born with, or a fixed quality that some people just have and others don't. Discipline is a skill, a mindset you can build, hack, and strengthen. Right now, you might be doubting that. You might be thinking, I've tried before, and nothing has worked. But here's the secret. The battle with discipline isn't about forcing yourself harder. It's about understanding how your mind works, rewiring it to serve your goals, and unlocking a new level of control you didn't think was possible. Imagine waking up tomorrow knowing you don't have to fight yourself to do what matters. Imagine discipline becoming natural, not a struggle, but a quiet power fueling your every action. That feeling of finally breaking free from hesitation and doubt. It's not just a dream, it's a very real possibility. If you can grasp this now, if you can lean in and commit to learning the right mental tools, you will unlock that power. What's waiting on the other side is freedom, the freedom to choose your actions consciously, to build momentum, and to create the life you've always wanted with steady, unstoppable progress. But why does discipline feel so impossible for so many of us? Because it's misunderstood. We often think discipline means harsh self-control, forcing ourselves to do things we hate, and never giving in to temptation. That's a myth that sets us up for failure and guilt. In reality, discipline is a deeply personal process of training your mind to work with you, not against you. It's about designing your environment, habits, and thoughts in a way that makes the disciplined choice the easiest and most natural one. This is why some people seem to have endless discipline. They've hacked their mind without even realizing it. This video isn't just about telling you to try harder. It's about handing you the exact keys to unlock your mind's hidden potential. By the end of this journey, you will understand how to bend your brain's natural resistance and build a foundation so strong that discipline stops being a battle and starts becoming your new way of life. You'll see how tiny shifts in your thinking and daily routine can spark a transformation so profound that you look back and wonder why it ever felt hard. Stay with me through this, because every moment you hesitate, you lose valuable time that could be spent building a stronger, more disciplined you. The reward is not just reaching your goals, it's becoming the person who never has to question their discipline again. You're about to hack your mind. You're about to force yourself into a new reality. And it all starts right here, right now. Your mind is wired to resist change. That resistance is not a flaw or a sign of weakness. It's a survival mechanism. Every time you try to push yourself beyond comfort, your brain sends signals to protect you. It craves ease, safety, and instant rewards. This is why discipline feels like a constant uphill battle. The moment you face discomfort, your mind screams, "Stop! This is dangerous." But real growth never happens inside comfort zones. That discomfort you feel is the signal that you're on the edge of transformation. The question is, will you listen to fear or to the part of you that craves progress? Your brain is addicted to what feels good right now, and this addiction to instant gratification is the invisible enemy of discipline. It's why scrolling endlessly, procrastinating, or giving in to excuses happens automatically. You're not lazy, you're just wired to avoid pain and seek pleasure. But here's the truth you must accept to break free. Your future depends on the ability to delay gratification. The people who succeed, who are disciplined, have trained their minds to value long-term rewards over fleeting comfort. That shift is not magic, it's a skill you can develop. When you realize this, you begin to see why willpower alone won't save you. Willpower is like a battery. It runs out fast when you rely on it without strategy. The key to lasting discipline is understanding these mental limits and working around them. It's about hacking your brain's natural wiring instead of fighting it head-on. Once you know this, every challenge becomes an opportunity to reprogram your responses instead of surrendering to old patterns. This resistance you face is a test, not of how strong you are, but of how smart you are about your mind. You're not here to punish yourself, but to learn how to guide your thoughts and actions with precision. This means recognizing triggers that drain your energy, identifying moments when your brain is vulnerable to giving in, and building systems that make the disciplined choice automatic. When you stop relying on raw effort and start designing your environment and habits to work for you, discipline stops feeling impossible. The struggle with discipline is a mental game where knowledge is your weapon and awareness your shield. Every time you understand why you resist, you disarm the obstacle. Every insight about your brain's limits is a step closer to freedom. The pain of discomfort fades when it's met with clarity and purpose. You begin to see that resistance isn't an enemy but a guide, a signal that you're rewiring your mind for something greater. Discipline is not about crushing your desires, it's about mastering them. It's about training your brain to serve your deepest ambitions, not your momentary impulses. You're learning to create a mental environment where discipline thrives naturally. This shift doesn't just improve your habits, it changes who you are at your core. Your mind becomes a powerful ally, no longer a prison. Remember, this resistance you face is universal. It's the battleground where transformation happens. The more you understand it, the more you empower yourself to rise above it. This is your moment to decide. Will you let your mind hold you hostage, or will you hack it to unleash unstoppable discipline? Your future self is waiting for this choice. The power to rewrite your mental story lies within you. The war inside your mind can become your greatest victory. Every step forward begins with a small win, a tiny victory that ignites something powerful inside you. It might seem insignificant, a single moment of choosing discipline over distraction, but these moments compound like invisible deposits into your confidence bank. The brain craves progress. When it sees even the smallest success, it rewards you with a burst of motivation, a chemical surge that feels like satisfaction and pride. This feeling is the fuel that keeps discipline alive. Without these small wins, the journey feels endless, heavy, and impossible. But with each one, your mind rewires itself to crave discipline, not resist it. This is where true transformation begins, by focusing on the tiniest achievable actions, not overwhelming leaps. The power of small wins lies in their ability to reframe how your brain views effort. Instead of seeing discipline as a daunting mountain, it becomes a series of manageable hills. This shift relieves pressure and replaces fear with curiosity and confidence. The moment you celebrate these wins, you create a mental feedback loop that makes discipline addictive in the right way. Your brain starts seeking the next success, no matter how small, because it craves the emotional reward that follows. This is how you break free from procrastination, self-doubt, and the endless cycle of starting over. Progress, not perfection, becomes the rule. Discipline isn't a sudden transformation. It's a process of building momentum, brick by brick, habit by habit. The brain's reward system is designed to respond to consistency more than intensity. That means showing up every day, even if it's just a little bit, matters far more than occasional bursts of effort followed by collapse. The small wins you accumulate send a powerful message to your subconscious. You are capable. You are reliable. You can be trusted to follow through. This trust builds an unshakable foundation for discipline, because it replaces the fear of failure with the expectation of success. Every choice you make today adds to this momentum. It might be waking up 5 minutes earlier, writing one sentence, or resisting one urge. These are not trivial. They are the architecture of your future self. The brain does not distinguish between big and small wins in the way you think. What matters is the frequency and consistency with which you reinforce the disciplined behavior. This steady drip of success rewires your neural pathways and reshapes your identity. You begin to see yourself not as someone who struggles with discipline, but as someone who embodies it. This is why patience and persistence are not just virtues, but necessities. The path to discipline is a marathon, not a sprint. Your brain needs time to build these new connections, and you must give it permission to grow at its own pace. Every small win, no matter how tiny, is a declaration that you are committed to this journey. It signals to your mind that you are serious, that you refuse to be held hostage by old patterns. Over time, these small victories accumulate into unstoppable momentum, creating a force that propels you forward even when motivation fades. This momentum is your secret weapon. It turns discipline from a daunting task into a natural flow. It makes your mind hungry for progress and hungry for more wins. Once you tap into this, your struggle with discipline shifts from painful to empowering. You become a person who doesn't just chase goals but systematically conquers them, one small win at a time. The power is in your hands. All you need to do is take that next small step. Your brain is not fixed. It is constantly changing, adapting, and reshaping itself based on what you do every day. This ability to rewire and grow is called neuroplasticity, and it is the foundation of lasting discipline. When you repeat a behavior, especially one tied to a goal, your brain strengthens the neural pathways that make that behavior easier and more automatic. This means discipline isn't about forcing yourself harder. It's about training your mind to run new programs that serve your future, not your past habits. The power to change lies in your hands every time you choose action over hesitation, focus over distraction, and growth over comfort. Neuroplasticity is your secret weapon. It allows you to move beyond old limits and rewrite the mental scripts that once held you back. This rewiring isn't instant. It requires consistent repetition and intention. Each disciplined act builds a stronger neural bridge, making the next act easier. Over time, what once felt like a battle becomes seamless. Your brain begins to crave discipline because it associates it with progress, pride, and personal power. This transformation happens silently, beneath your awareness. But it changes everything. You no longer have to struggle every day. Instead, you build momentum that carries you forward effortlessly. Understanding this rewiring process helps you shift from frustration to strategy. When discipline feels impossible, it's often because you are expecting immediate change without the patience your brain needs. You must honor the time it takes to build new pathways and trust the process. The more you commit to small, consistent actions, the more your brain adapts, embedding discipline into your identity. This is why temporary bursts of motivation don't work. Lasting change demands steady, persistent effort that rewires your brain for success. This is where the magic of habits comes in. Habits are the mental shortcuts your brain creates to conserve energy. When you repeat a behavior regularly, it becomes automatic, requiring less conscious effort. Habits free your willpower and make discipline sustainable. They transform discipline from a daily struggle into a natural part of who you are. This means your goal is not just to will yourself into action, but to build habits that do the heavy lifting for you. Once these habits are in place, discipline becomes your default state, not a constant battle. To harness neuroplasticity, you must be deliberate. It's not enough to want discipline. You must actively choose and repeat behaviors that shape your brain. Every action you take today is a signal to your brain about who you are and who you want to become. This repetition rewires your mind, making discipline less about effort and more about identity. You start to see yourself as a disciplined person because your brain's wiring confirms it. This rewiring also rewrites your self-image, the core story you tell yourself about your abilities and worth. As your brain forms new pathways for discipline, your sense of identity shifts. You stop fighting your impulses and start embodying control, focus, and resilience. This internal transformation is the real power behind discipline. It's why discipline feels natural, unstoppable, and deeply rewarding when it's built on this foundation. Your brain is your ally. Train it well, and it will carry you to heights you once thought impossible. Your environment is the silent architect of your discipline. It shapes your habits, your thoughts, and ultimately your actions without you even realizing it. The spaces you inhabit, the objects you see, the sounds you hear, all of these send powerful signals to your brain about what is possible and what is expected. When your environment is cluttered with distractions, temptations, and chaos, your mind is forced into constant battle, draining willpower and sabotaging discipline. But when you intentionally design your surroundings to support your goals, discipline becomes easier, almost automatic. This is not a small detail. It is a fundamental hack to force yourself to be more disciplined without relying solely on willpower. Think about the times you've tried to focus or maintain discipline but failed. How many of those moments involved a phone buzzing, an open tab tempting you, or a messy space pulling your attention away? Your brain is wired to respond instantly to stimuli, and distractions hijack your mental resources faster than you realize. By controlling your environment, you control what your brain focuses on. You reduce decision fatigue because your choices become obvious. This is how discipline shifts from being a constant battle of strength to a natural outcome of your surroundings. When you remove triggers for distraction and replace them with cues for discipline, your brain begins to anticipate the right action. This means putting away your phone, creating a dedicated workspace, or even leaving out materials that prompt productive behavior. These environmental triggers serve as invisible nudges that guide your behavior before you even have to think. The less you have to rely on effort, the more consistent your discipline becomes. This is the power of designing your environment. It works quietly in the background, freeing your mind to focus on what truly matters. You can't expect your brain to fight a war on all fronts. When your environment is designed against discipline, you're essentially asking your mind to constantly resist temptation, which is exhausting and unsustainable. Instead, shift the battlefield in your favor by setting up your environment to support your goals. This means removing distractions before they appear, and placing cues that encourage focus and persistence. Discipline is no longer a matter of resisting. It becomes the easiest, most natural path forward. The science is clear. Your brain responds to environmental cues faster and more powerfully than to conscious decisions alone. By hacking your environment, you're hacking your brain's automatic responses. This changes the rules of the game. Suddenly, discipline feels less like willpower and more like habit. Your environment becomes an ally. reinforcing your commitment to yourself every time you walk into a room, sit at a desk, or reach for a tool. This consistency rewires your brain to expect and prefer discipline, building momentum effortlessly. Designing your environment is not a one-time act, but a continuous process of refinement. Pay attention to what supports your focus and what pulls you away. Adjust, remove, and replace. Each intentional change strengthens your ability to stay disciplined. When you master this, you remove the struggle and create space for sustained growth. Your surroundings become the foundation upon which unstoppable discipline is built. This is one of the most powerful ways to force yourself into new habits and a new identity. A disciplined person who thrives by design, not by struggle. Your thoughts are the architects of your reality, and discipline begins with mastering the inner dialogue you have with yourself. Every moment your mind sends signals, sometimes clear, sometimes subtle, about what you believe is possible, what you deserve, and what you are capable of. If those messages are filled with doubt, excuses, or negativity, they become barriers to discipline. But when you deliberately choose thoughts that empower, challenge, and inspire, you reshape your mental landscape. Discipline thrives in the fertile ground of a positive, focused mindset, because your brain begins to align your actions with your new beliefs. The mind is powerful, but it is also vulnerable to patterns of thinking that can either limit or liberate you. Negative self-talk, fear of failure, or the illusion that you lack willpower are not truths. They are learned habits. These mental habits can be rewired, just like physical habits. When you catch yourself doubting your ability to stay disciplined, you have an opportunity to pause and choose a different thought. This conscious shift disrupts the old patterns and sends a new message to your brain. You are capable, you are committed, and you can overcome resistance. Discipline grows from the consistency of these small mental choices. It is not about forcing yourself to think positively all the time. That's unrealistic and exhausting. Instead, it's about training your mind to recognize when it's falling into defeat and gently steering it back to empowerment. This process requires awareness and practice, but it's the most important battle you'll fight, because the quality of your inner dialogue directly impacts the quality of your actions. When your mind believes you can succeed, your body and habits follow naturally. Your beliefs about discipline shape your identity. If you believe discipline is something you lack or struggle with endlessly, you reinforce a cycle of resistance and failure. But when you shift your mindset to see discipline as a skill that grows with practice, you begin to embody that belief. Your brain rewires itself to support this new identity, and your actions begin to match. This identity shift is crucial. It transforms discipline from an external expectation into an internal truth. You stop trying to be disciplined and start being disciplined. This mindset work is not about denying reality or ignoring challenges. It's about confronting those challenges with a mindset that refuses to be defeated. When doubts arise, you don't let them dictate your path. Instead, you acknowledge them and choose thoughts that reinforce your strength and resolve. This creates an unbreakable cycle. Empowered thoughts lead to disciplined actions, which build confidence, which fuels even stronger beliefs. The momentum becomes unstoppable. Remember, your mind is your most valuable asset in this journey. It can be your fiercest critic or your greatest ally. The choice lies in the mental habits you cultivate every day. By mastering your inner dialogue, you build a foundation for discipline that no external force can shake. This is where true transformation begins, within your thoughts, where your identity and actions take root. The power to change your life is locked inside your mind, waiting for you to claim it. Discipline is not a battle you win once. It is a continuous practice that demands constant attention and renewal. Your mind naturally drifts back toward comfort, distractions, and old habits, because that's its default setting. But discipline becomes real and lasting only when you commit to showing up for yourself repeatedly, especially when it feels hardest. Each moment you choose action over surrender, focus over distraction, and growth over stagnation, you deepen your connection to the person you are becoming. This daily commitment, even in small doses, builds a fortress of resilience that no external obstacle can break. Resistance will never disappear completely. It is part of the human experience, and a sign that you are stretching beyond your previous limits. Instead of fearing resistance, learn to welcome it as proof that you are on the right path. Resistance tests your dedication and forces you to sharpen your mental tools. Every time you push through discomfort, your brain registers a victory. This rewires your neural pathways and solidifies discipline as a core part of your identity. Over time, what once felt like torture becomes a source of pride and strength. To sustain discipline, you must create rituals, reliable, repeatable actions that serve as anchors when motivation wanes. Rituals reduce decision fatigue because they remove guesswork and simplify your day. When you rely on rituals, you don't have to debate whether or not to act. You simply follow a well-established routine. These small, consistent habits become the architecture of discipline, supporting your goals with minimal resistance. You aren't relying on willpower alone, but on a system designed to keep you moving forward, no matter how you feel. Self-compassion is essential in this process. Discipline is not about perfection or punishment, it is about persistence and growth. When you stumble or fall short, respond with kindness rather than criticism. Harsh judgment drains your mental energy and weakens your resolve, but gentle acceptance acknowledges your humanity and refocuses your attention on what you can control right now. This balanced approach keeps you motivated and resilient, preventing burnout and self-sabotage. Your daily choices are the building blocks of your future. Every decision to stay disciplined, even when it feels impossible, sends a message to your subconscious that you are committed. This message rewires your brain, reshapes your habits, and strengthens your identity. The journey toward discipline is not a straight line. It is a series of steps forward, occasional slips, and renewed commitment. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is their refusal to give up despite obstacles. Embrace the discomfort of growth as necessary fuel for your transformation. The pain you feel when pushing through resistance is not punishment, it is progress. This discomfort signals that your brain is adapting and building new, stronger pathways. It is the tension before breakthrough, the forging of a stronger you. When you learn to lean into this discomfort, discipline becomes a natural state, no longer dependent on fleeting motivation but rooted in unshakable purpose. The power to change your life is in your hands. Discipline is not a distant ideal reserved for a few. It is a skill that anyone can cultivate with intention and persistence. Each choice you make shapes your brain, your habits, and your destiny. The only question is, will you claim this power today, right now, and force yourself to rise above resistance? Your future self is waiting for this moment of courage. The path is yours to walk. Discipline is a muscle, and like any muscle, it grows stronger through deliberate, consistent training. You can't expect to become disciplined overnight or through occasional effort. Every time you resist temptation, push past procrastination, or choose focus over distraction, you are strengthening this muscle. The more you practice, the more natural discipline becomes. It stops feeling like an uphill battle and starts feeling like the foundation of who you are. This transformation doesn't happen by chance. It happens because you commit to training your mind, day after day, moment after moment. Understanding this muscle metaphor is crucial because it shifts your mindset from "I have to be disciplined" to "I get to train my discipline." This subtle shift makes a profound difference. When you see discipline as something you develop, not something you either have or lack, you empower yourself to take control. You no longer wait for motivation or willpower to appear. Instead, you build discipline through action, regardless of how you feel. This consistency rewires your brain, embedding discipline deeply into your identity, so that it becomes your automatic response. Every action counts, even when progress seems slow or invisible. Your efforts are building strength. You may not feel disciplined now, but every choice to act despite resistance is a deposit in your discipline bank. Over time, these deposits accumulate into a balance that you can draw from during moments of doubt or fatigue. This bank of discipline allows you to push through when motivation is low, giving you an edge that separates those who succeed from those who give up. Discipline is also about managing your energy wisely. It's not just mental toughness, it's strategic focus. Your brain can't maintain peak effort indefinitely without rest and renewal. Pushing yourself past exhaustion leads to burnout, which kills discipline faster than distraction. Honoring your need for rest, nutrition, and mental breaks replenishes your energy reserves, allowing you to return stronger and more focused. Discipline is sustainable only when it is balanced with self-care and respect for your body and mind. You can design your daily routine to optimize this balance. Prioritize high-impact tasks when your energy is highest, and allow space for recovery when needed. This approach turns discipline into a rhythm, not a strain. It creates a cycle of effort and renewal that keeps you moving forward consistently without depletion. When you master this balance, discipline stops being a grueling struggle and becomes a sustainable lifestyle. Your environment, mindset, and habits all work together to support your discipline muscle. The key is to be intentional about each element. Set up your surroundings to reduce resistance, shape your thoughts to empower you, and commit to daily training that builds resilience. The combination creates a powerful ecosystem that makes discipline inevitable. The more you invest in this ecosystem, the easier it becomes to stay on track and overcome obstacles. Remember, Discipline is not a destination but a lifelong practice. It is the way you show up for yourself, day after day, through every challenge and victory. The more you embrace this truth, the more unstoppable you become. Your discipline muscle is waiting to be trained. The choice to start strengthening it is yours, right here, right now. Every rep, every effort, every moment counts. Build it, and your future self will thank you beyond words. Every moment you choose discipline, you are investing in your future freedom. This may sound paradoxical because discipline often feels like restriction, like chains holding you back from pleasure or ease. But true discipline is the key that unlocks freedom. The freedom to live on your own terms, to pursue your deepest desires without being held hostage by impulses or distractions. When you force yourself to be disciplined, you are building a life where your choices come from strength, not from reaction. This freedom is not given, it is earned through countless small acts of self-control and commitment. Imagine a life where your habits align perfectly with your goals, where your mind and body work together in harmony toward your vision. This life is not a fantasy but a reality waiting for you to claim it through disciplined action. Each disciplined choice you make is a brick in the foundation of this reality. The power of discipline lies in its compound effect. Small, consistent actions, repeated over time, lead to massive transformation. This is the invisible force behind every success story, the quiet engine that drives progress even when motivation fades. Your brain craves this kind of structure because it reduces chaos and uncertainty. When you act with discipline, you send a signal to your subconscious that you are in control. This reduces anxiety and builds confidence. The more you practice discipline, the more your brain associates it with security and peace of mind. This internal reward system makes discipline feel good, even when it requires sacrifice. You begin to crave the clarity and calm that come from living intentionally, rather than reacting impulsively. Discipline also builds resilience. Life will throw challenges, distractions, and setbacks at you, testing your commitment at every turn. Without discipline, it's easy to fall apart under pressure. But with discipline, you develop a mental toughness that keeps you standing, even when the storms rage. This toughness is not about ignoring pain or discomfort. It's about acknowledging those feelings and choosing to move forward anyway. It is a decision to persist beyond obstacles, to rise stronger each time you face resistance. This resilience transforms your relationship with failure. Instead of fearing it, you learn to see failure as feedback, a necessary part of growth. Discipline helps you bounce back quickly, learn the lessons, and keep moving forward without losing momentum. Each setback becomes a stepping stone rather than a stumbling block. This mindset shift is essential because it frees you from paralysis and self-doubt, replacing them with action and progress. The choice to force yourself to be more disciplined is the choice to become unstoppable. It is a commitment to living beyond limits, to crafting a life defined by purpose, not excuses. This choice requires courage, because it means confronting discomfort and uncertainty head-on, but it also promises something incredible, a life where you are the master of your mind, your habits, and your destiny. Discipline is the bridge between where you are now and where you want to be. Walk it with determination, and your transformation will be inevitable. Discipline demands unwavering focus. In a world flooded with distractions, focus becomes the rarest and most valuable currency. Without it, even the strongest intentions dissolve into scattered energy and wasted potential. To force yourself to be more disciplined, you must first reclaim control over your attention. This means eliminating distractions that pull you away from your priorities, and deliberately choosing where you place your mental energy. Focus sharpens your mind, heightens your clarity, and aligns your actions with your deepest goals. Your brain is designed to seek pleasure and avoid pain, which often leads to instant gratification rather than long-term gain. Discipline is the ability to override this impulse, to delay gratification, and to act in alignment with your future self's best interest. This requires mental strength, but it also requires strategy. By controlling your environment, removing temptations, and creating cues that remind you of your purpose, you make focus easier and resistance weaker. Your environment becomes your ally, not your enemy, in the fight for discipline. Harnessing focus also means setting clear, purposeful intentions. When your goals are vague or uninspiring, your mind wanders and your willpower fades quickly. But when your intentions are crystal clear, emotionally charged, and connected to your core values, they ignite a fire within you that keeps you anchored. This fire propels you forward, even when motivation dips. It transforms discipline from a chore into a mission, a personal pact to honor your highest potential. Discipline is reinforced by the small wins you accumulate each day. Every focused effort, no matter how small, sends a message to your subconscious that you are committed and capable. These wins build momentum and confidence, which are essential for sustaining discipline over the long haul. Momentum creates a self-reinforcing cycle. Focused action leads to progress. Progress builds confidence. Confidence fuels more focused action. This cycle becomes your greatest weapon against distraction and doubt. Your mind craves certainty and structure, so create habits that support your discipline. Habits reduce the mental effort required to maintain focus because they automate positive behaviors. When actions become habitual, you no longer need to rely on willpower alone. Instead, your brain executes routines that serve your goals effortlessly. Building these habits requires patience and persistence, but the payoff is enormous: freedom from decision fatigue and increased consistency. It's also crucial to practice mindful awareness of your thoughts and impulses. Discipline falters when you operate on autopilot, reacting to cravings or negative self-talk. Mindfulness allows you to observe these mental states without judgment and choose your response consciously. This awareness breaks the cycle of automatic reaction and opens space for intentional action. The more you cultivate this skill, the more you gain mastery over your mind and your behavior. Discipline demands commitment to this process every single day. There will be moments when your focus weakens, when distractions beckon, and when the easier choice tempts you. In those moments, remind yourself of the power that comes from focus, the power to shape your future, to transform your life, and to become the person you aspire to be. Focus is not just a skill, it is the foundation of all discipline. Cultivate it fiercely, and you will forge a path to greatness that no distraction can derail. Discipline is not a gift reserved for a select few. It is a skill you can build with deliberate effort and unwavering commitment. The first step to forcing yourself to be more disciplined is to change the story you tell yourself. Your mind is powerful, and the language you use shapes your beliefs and actions. Replace "I can't" with "I will." Swap "it's too hard" for "I am learning." These simple shifts rewire your brain, creating new pathways that support resilience and strength. Your internal dialogue becomes the foundation upon which your discipline is built. Recognize that your brain thrives on consistency. It craves patterns and predictability, which is why habits are the backbone of discipline. When you commit to a daily routine aligned with your goals, you remove the burden of decision-making and reduce the risk of slipping into old behaviors. Habits automate discipline, making it a natural part of your life, rather than a constant struggle. The power lies in repetition. Each time you perform a positive action, you reinforce neural connections that make that action easier the next time. This is how small, consistent efforts compound into monumental change. Accountability fuels discipline. When you hold yourself responsible, your commitment deepens. This doesn't mean beating yourself up for mistakes. It means owning your choices and learning from them. Accountability sharpens your focus and ignites a sense of urgency that pushes you beyond comfort zones. Consider ways to increase your accountability, whether through journaling your progress, setting measurable goals, or sharing your intentions with someone who supports your growth. The more you make your discipline visible, the stronger it becomes. Your environment shapes your behavior more than you realize. Discipline flourishes when you surround yourself with cues that promote your goals and remove temptations that lead to distraction. Design your space intentionally, organize your work area, eliminate clutter, and create visual reminders of your purpose. This reduces friction and makes disciplined choices easier. Small adjustments to your surroundings create a ripple effect that supports sustained effort. You are engineering success by controlling what you can. Expect discomfort. Discipline grows when you push through resistance and embrace challenge. The urge to quit or procrastinate signals that you are breaking old habits and building new strength. Instead of shrinking from discomfort, lean into it with determination. This pain is temporary, but the rewards of persistence are lasting. The brain adapts and grows stronger with every act of courage. This transformation is not always comfortable, but it is always worthwhile. Celebrate progress, no matter how small. Recognizing your achievements reinforces the positive feelings tied to discipline and motivates you to keep going. Progress builds confidence, and confidence makes discipline feel less like a battle and more like a natural part of your identity. Remember, this journey is about growth, not perfection. Every step forward is a victory that brings you closer to the life you envision. Discipline is a daily choice, a choice to rise above excuses, distractions, and fear. It is the bridge between who you are now and who you are capable of becoming. Embrace this power, nurture it, and let it transform you from the inside out. The effort you invest today plants the seeds for an extraordinary tomorrow. Your discipline is waiting. Take hold of it and make it unstoppable. Your mind is a battleground where discipline is won or lost every day. The choices you make in moments of weakness determine whether you grow stronger or surrender to old patterns. Understand this clearly. Your impulses are not your destiny. They are simply signals, urges that arise and fall like waves. Discipline is the courage to ride those waves without being swept away. It is the refusal to let momentary desire dictate a lifetime of outcomes. This power belongs to you, but only if you claim it relentlessly. Your brain's default is to seek comfort and avoid effort, but you can override this by creating new mental associations. When temptation knocks, train your mind to see it as a test of strength rather than an opportunity to give in. Each time you say no to distraction, you carve a new path in your neural landscape, one that leads to greater control and freedom. This is neuroplasticity in action, your brain reshaping itself to support your discipline. The more you practice, the easier it becomes. What once felt like a struggle transforms into your second nature. Emotions are powerful allies or enemies in this fight. Anxiety, fear, and frustration can derail discipline if left unchecked. Yet these feelings also signal that you are stepping into growth. Instead of avoiding discomfort, learn to welcome it as a sign of progress. Naming your emotions and observing them without judgment creates distance between you and impulsive reactions. This emotional intelligence strengthens your willpower by allowing conscious choice rather than automatic response. Discipline thrives in this space of mindful awareness. Repetition alone isn't enough. You must bring intention and meaning to your actions. Ask yourself why discipline matters to you. What does it unlock in your life? When your reasons resonate deeply, discipline becomes more than routine. It becomes a commitment to your own potential. This clarity fuels perseverance when motivation fades. Your why acts as a compass, guiding your focus and energy through challenges and distractions alike. Accountability enhances this process by turning your private commitment into a public or personal declaration that demands follow-through. When you hold yourself to a higher standard and track your progress, your mind internalizes discipline as non-negotiable. This creates a powerful feedback loop. Progress builds confidence, and confidence reinforces commitment. Use tools like journaling, goal setting, or sharing your intentions to harness this momentum. Remember, discipline is a skill cultivated over time, not an innate trait. It requires patience, self-compassion, and persistence. You will stumble, but each stumble is an opportunity to learn and strengthen your resolve. Do not let perfectionism or fear of failure paralyze you. Instead, embrace progress and resilience as your daily companions. These qualities transform discipline from a fleeting effort into an enduring lifestyle. Ultimately, the force to be disciplined is born from your belief in yourself. When you choose to trust your ability to overcome, to act despite discomfort, and to rise after setbacks, you ignite a fire that propels you forward. This fire burns away excuses and weakness, leaving only strength, clarity, and purpose. Discipline is not a punishment, but a gift you give yourself, the gift of becoming who you were meant to be. Claim it fully, with every breath and every choice, and watch your life transform. Discipline is not just about willpower, it is about mastering your inner environment. The thoughts you entertain, the beliefs you hold, and the attitudes you cultivate all shape your ability to stay disciplined. Negative self-talk chips away at your confidence and drains your energy. Doubt and fear whisper lies that convince you to quit before you even begin. To force yourself to be more disciplined, you must confront these internal voices and replace them with affirmations of strength and possibility. Your mind is a garden, and you decide which seeds to plant. Choose thoughts that nourish your determination, and uproot those that feed weakness. Your emotional state influences your discipline far more than you realize. When you are tired, stressed, or overwhelmed, your ability to resist temptation diminishes. This is why self-care is a critical part of building discipline. Honoring your body with rest, nutrition, and movement fuels your brain and body to perform at their best. When you feel strong and balanced, your willpower strengthens. Discipline then becomes an act of self-respect rather than self-denial. Caring for yourself is not a distraction from your goals, it is a foundational element of achieving them. Clarity is another pillar of discipline. When your goals are vague or disconnected from your values, motivation falters. The mind resists what it does not understand or value deeply. Spend time defining exactly what discipline means to you and why it matters. What is the life you want to build? How does being disciplined serve that vision? This clarity creates a magnetic pull that draws you toward action, even when you feel weak. It transforms discipline from a chore into a powerful force aligned with your true desires. To harness discipline, you must break it down into manageable actions. Large goals can feel overwhelming, and overwhelm breeds procrastination. Instead, focus on small, specific steps that you can commit to every day. These micro-actions build consistency, and consistency builds trust in yourself. Each successful effort, no matter how small, reinforces your identity as a disciplined person. Over time, these small victories compound into profound transformation, proving that discipline is not about perfection but persistence. The mind responds to rewards. To maintain discipline, create a system that celebrates progress and acknowledges effort. This does not mean indulging in destructive behaviors, but rather recognizing and rewarding yourself in ways that reinforce positive habits. This might be a moment of reflection, a small treat, or simply acknowledging your progress with gratitude. Rewarding yourself builds positive associations with discipline, making it a source of joy and fulfillment rather than deprivation. Finally, recognize that discipline is a form of freedom. It is the freedom to choose your path, to live intentionally, and to create a life that reflects your highest potential. Without discipline, life drifts in the direction of least resistance, often away from your dreams. When you commit to discipline, you take control of your destiny. This power is within you now, waiting to be unleashed. Embrace it fully, knowing that every disciplined choice is a step toward the extraordinary life you deserve. Your future self will thank you for the courage you show today. The greatest obstacle to discipline is often the illusion of comfort. You might convince yourself that delaying action or giving in to ease won't matter, but every moment spent avoiding discipline chips away at your potential. Comfort is a trap disguised as peace. It whispers that it's okay to settle, to remain where you are, to postpone the work that leads to growth. But true peace comes from progress, not avoidance. To force yourself to be more disciplined, you must break free from the seductive pull of comfort and choose the discomfort of growth every single day. Your brain is wired to seek immediate gratification because it's wired for survival, not long-term success. This biological impulse can sabotage your discipline if left unchecked. Recognizing this allows you to take control. When you feel the urge to quit or procrastinate, understand that it is just your brain trying to protect you from perceived pain or effort. You have the power to override this impulse by focusing on the greater reward, the life you are building. Visualize the outcome so vividly that the present discomfort feels like a small price to pay. This mental shift turns discipline from a battle into a necessary and worthwhile investment. Self-discipline requires creating boundaries that protect your time, energy, and focus. In a world filled with distractions, every yes to something trivial is a no to your goals. Setting clear limits on what you allow into your mental and physical space is a radical act of self-respect. This might mean limiting social media, saying no to invitations that don't serve your purpose, or dedicating specific blocks of time solely to your priorities. Boundaries create structure, and structure is the framework within which discipline thrives. You must also confront the fear of failure that lurks beneath hesitation. Fear can paralyze you, making discipline feel impossible. But what if failure is not an end but a signal, an essential feedback mechanism guiding you toward improvement? Reframe failure as a necessary step, a part of the process, rather than a verdict on your worth. This mindset reduces the emotional weight of setbacks, freeing you to persist with greater courage and less self-judgment. Discipline is not about avoiding failure. It is about embracing persistence despite it. Your identity is shaped by your actions. Every time you act with discipline, you reinforce the belief that you are capable, strong, and committed. This feedback loop strengthens your self-image, making future disciplined choices easier. Conversely, giving into weakness chips away at confidence and makes discipline more difficult next time. Choose to see yourself as the person who overcomes resistance, who honors commitments, who pursues excellence with relentless focus. When your identity aligns with discipline, it ceases to be a struggle and becomes who you are. The journey of discipline is one of continuous growth and self-discovery. It demands patience and persistence, but the rewards are immense. Freedom, confidence, and purpose come from the disciplined choices you make today. Your mind is your most powerful ally when trained and focused. Cultivate it with care, push it with courage, and trust in its capacity to change. Your future depends on this relentless commitment. Step into your power and make discipline your unwavering path forward. Your mind is the battlefield where discipline is forged or lost, and the key to victory lies in mastering your daily habits. Habits are the automatic actions that shape your reality without demanding conscious effort every time. When you build disciplined habits, you create a foundation that supports your goals effortlessly, but forming these habits requires intention and consistency. It means choosing to act in alignment with your goals even when motivation wanes or distractions call. This deliberate repetition rewires your brain, transforming discipline from a constant struggle into an ingrained way of being. Focus on the power of small, consistent actions. Grand gestures are impressive but unsustainable. Real transformation comes from tiny steps taken every day. Each disciplined choice, no matter how small, compounds over time. These small victories build momentum, reinforce your identity as a disciplined individual, and reduce the energy needed to stay on course. Your brain begins to expect and crave these positive actions, making discipline less a matter of willpower and more a natural rhythm of life. This is where lasting change takes root. To hack your mind for discipline, you must control your environment. The people you surround yourself with, the physical spaces you inhabit, and the digital content you consume, all influence your mental state and behaviors. Surround yourself with stimuli that encourage focus, ambition, and growth. Remove distractions that weaken your resolve. This external architecture supports your internal strength, creating conditions where disciplined choices become easier and more natural. Your environment can either be your ally or your enemy. Choose wisely. Discipline also demands emotional regulation. Impulses are often driven by immediate feelings, but those feelings do not define you. When you learn to observe your emotions without reacting impulsively, you create space for choice. This space is where discipline lives. Practicing mindfulness or simply pausing before action strengthens this capacity. It allows you to respond according to your highest goals rather than fleeting desires. This mastery over emotional responses is a profound way to hack your mind and elevate your discipline. Understand the importance of identity in this process. You don't just want to be disciplined, you want to be disciplined. This means shifting your self-concept to align with your goals. Every time you act in a disciplined way, you send a message to your brain about who you are. Over time, your actions and identity become inseparable. You start to see yourself as the kind of person who follows through, resists temptation, and achieves what others consider difficult. This internal alignment is a powerful catalyst for sustained discipline. Finally, embrace the discomfort that discipline often requires. Growth never happens in comfort zones. Discomfort signals progress, a necessary cost for the freedom and fulfillment discipline brings. When you feel resistance, remind yourself that this is the exact moment your character is being strengthened. You are training your mind to be stronger than your impulses, tougher than excuses, and more committed than distractions. This mindset turns discomfort into fuel, propelling you forward rather than holding you back. Discipline is the bridge between dreams and reality. It is not a distant ideal but a daily practice that transforms who you are and what you can achieve. Your mind is the most powerful tool in this transformation. Learn to hack it, train it, and harness it with intention. The life you desire is waiting on the other side of discipline. Step forward with courage and relentless commitment, knowing every action brings you closer to the extraordinary future you deserve. Discipline is not born from sheer willpower alone. It is cultivated through the conscious choices you make every moment. When your mind is aligned with purpose, your actions become unstoppable. The secret lies in rewiring your brain to embrace discipline as an identity, not as a burden. This transformation begins with the language you use internally. The words you speak to yourself shape your beliefs and direct your behavior. Replace "I can't" with "I choose to," and watch your mindset shift from limitation to empowerment. Each phrase you repeat strengthens neural pathways that support self-control and resilience. Your brain thrives on clarity and certainty. When your goals are vague, your mind hesitates and seeks comfort elsewhere. Define your why with precision. Why is discipline essential to your vision? Connect deeply with this reason until it becomes a driving force that eclipses momentary desires. This connection fuels your ability to push past distractions and exhaustion. It creates an internal compass that guides you back whenever your focus wavers. Without this clarity, discipline feels like a heavy obligation. With it, discipline becomes an expression of your highest values. Momentum is the force that turns small actions into profound change. The challenge is starting. The first disciplined act of the day sets the tone for everything that follows. It signals to your brain that you are serious about your goals. These initial choices are gateways to a stronger sense of control and confidence. As you accumulate these moments, your mental resistance decreases, making it easier to sustain discipline over time. Recognize the power in these beginnings and treat them as victories no matter how small. Resistance is inevitable. Your mind will test your commitment, offering excuses, distractions, and doubts. This internal conflict is not a sign of failure, but a signal that growth is underway. Lean into this resistance rather than running from it. Acknowledge it, then act anyway. Each act of defiance against comfort rewires your brain for greater discipline. Over time, what once felt impossible becomes natural. This process is not about being perfect, but about choosing progress consistently, even in the face of discomfort. To fortify discipline, establish rituals that anchor your day. Rituals reduce decision fatigue by automating positive behaviors. When your routine becomes a non-negotiable, your brain conserves energy and focuses on higher-level tasks. Design these rituals around your priorities: morning habits, focused work sessions, or evening reflections. The structure these rituals provide creates a safe space for discipline to flourish. They transform intentions into habits, and habits into character. Every discipline choice is a vote for the person you want to become. This perspective shifts discipline from punishment to empowerment. You are not sacrificing joy or freedom. You are creating them.